The rise and the fall of the first king of Yoruba land. In the ancient kingdom of Yoruba land, settled in the heart of West Africa, the people live in harmony with nature and with each other. They were peaceful and prosperous people, living in small villages and towns, surrounded by luxurious forests and fertile land. They were hardworking and kind, building small villages where they farmed, traded, and crafted beautiful things. The village of Ile-Ife was the largest and richest of all the villages in Yoruba land. It was full of skilled farmers, artisans, and traders. The people of Ile-Ife were known for their wisdom, kindness, and generosity. One day, the herders of Ile-Ife decided that it was time for the village to have a king. They believed that a king would bring order and would help to protect the people from external threats. The herder gathered all the young men of the village and told them they would have to compete for the throne. The competition will involve a series of physical and mental challenges designed to test the young men's strength, courage, and wisdom. The young men were eager to compete. They spent many days preparing themselves for the challenges ahead. Finally, the days of the competition arrived, and the young men gathered at the village square. The first challenge was a physical one, involving a test of strength and endurance. The young men were required to run a long distance, carrying heavy load on their head. Many of them struggled to complete the task, but one young man stood out from the rest. His name was Ade. He was a tall, strong, and handsome young man. He finished the challenge with ease, and the others were impressed by his strength and endurance. The second challenge was a mental one, involving the test of wisdom and intelligence. The young men were required to solve a complex puzzle, and Ade was the first to succeed. The herders were impressed by Ade's wisdom and intelligence, and they declared him the winner of the competition. Ade was crowned the first king of Ile-Ife, and the people celebrated his coronation with feasting and dancing. At first, King Ade was a just and fair ruler. He listened to the advice of the herders and made wise decisions for the benefit of the people. He was loved and respected by his subjects, and the village prospered under his rule. But as time went on, King Ade began to change. He became arrogant and power-hungry, using his position to exploit and oppress the people. He took their property, their children, and their wife, using them for his own pleasure and gain. The people of Ile-Ife were shocked and intimidated by King Ade's behavior. They have never seen anything like this before, and they don't know how to react. The herders of the village tried to advise King Ade, but refused to listen. He became more and more inaccessible and fearful, surrounding himself with men who praised him instead of telling him the truth. Life became harder. The people of Ile-Ife worked long hours, but were left with little. They began to suffer under King Ade's rule. They were taxed heavily with their crops and livestock taken away from them. The people were angry and frustrated, but they did not know what to do. They were afraid of King Ade's power and his wrath. Desperate, the elders turned to the gods. They gathered at the shrine and prayed. "Great God, hear us," they pleaded. "We beg of you." "Great gods," they pleaded, "please help us. Our king has become a tyrant, and we are suffering under his rule. Please take away his power and give us a new king who will rule us with kindness and wisdom." The God heard elders' prayer, and they were angry with King Ade. They decided to punish him and to take away his power. Not long after, King Ade went to battle, leading his army against a neighboring kingdom, but the gods were against him, and he was defeated. King Ade was captured by the enemy and was taken away as a prisoner. The people of Ile-Ife were overjoyed as they celebrated their freedom. The elders of the village gathered together and they chose a new king. His name was Ogun. He was a wise and just ruler. King Ogun ruled Ile-Ife with kindness and compassion. He listened to the advice of the elder. He made wise decisions for the benefit of the people. The people of Ile-Ife prospered under King Ogun rules. They were happy again and they never forgot the lesson. A king must rule for his people and not for himself.